What is your name? This is a simple introduction. My name is Simon Ferreira. Okay. What are your interests and what do you do in your free time? As we are getting to know each other, this is a normal question. For me, I love playing tennis, I love music, I love movies, and I love cups of tea. Not necessarily in that order. What will you be studying at university? What did I write? Oh, I wrote English literature, psychology, and English for academic purposes, which is what I studied when I was at university, all three of them. What do you think are the main differences between studying at school and studying at university? Now, this is up to you to answer. What did I write? The amount of personal connection with your instructors, also the amount you have to collaborate with your peers, peers being friends, okay? Your co-workers, your colleagues, your friends, okay? It's a big difference between school, okay? For me, school, you're always talking to your teacher and getting feedback, good and bad. With college, I never actually met my teachers. I never spoke to them once. I had to do it all on my own. All right. Are you ready to study at university? Why or why not? Again, your personal opinion. Okay. I wrote, I wasn't the first time, and I wasn't. The second time I went to do my master's, then I was definitely ready and knew what I was doing. Okay, so those are the warm-up questions. Okay, introductory questions. So the first thing we're going to do is something called a noticing task, a noticing exercise. And this is probably the most common task in EAP, English for academic purposes. And the idea here, you see the part in the red, learners cannot learn the features of a language unless they become aware of them or notice them. Okay. Mostly when you read, for example, when you read a text, like a book or something like that, you don't look to see how it is put together. You just read for fun, or you read for the story, but you miss the parts, you miss how it is put together. And when you're writing at university, you are expected to produce. You are going to write as well, okay? Therefore, you have to know how things are put together, so you can reproduce them yourself, which is what we're going to do today. We're going to do a noticing exercise. Okay, now I'm going to give you an example first, okay, and one that I did earlier today, and show you what exactly a noticing exercise is. And you can do it on any text, okay? I'm going to show you an example which I use with my PhD students. I use it at NTU and Academia Sinica. Okay, and in this sample exercise, what we are looking for is basically features, okay, features of the essay in terms of, in this case, we're going to be looking at organization. How is it organized? Style of writing, okay. In this case, we're going to call style of writing active, passive, okay. Whether the verbs are active, passive, what tense it's in, things like that, okay. Next, we're going to look at the conventions, okay? Are there any patterns of language, okay? And then register. Now, in terms of register, what we're talking about here is formal or informal vocabulary. What can we understand from this abstract without actually understanding the words, okay? In terms of features, okay, we're looking at organization. There is a clear organizational pattern which we can learn from here, okay? You'll see the part in red. This is an introduction to the abstract. Followed by 2, you have the purpose and the methodology. Okay, from this paper describes. This bit is the purpose and methodology. Then you got from the data analysis. Okay, we have essentially the results all the way down here. Okay, this essentially is the results of the experiment. And finally, you get a conclusion. This is the pattern of an abstract, and it is a very commonly used pattern across all abstracts. So what we can see here is a pattern of organization just by noticing how it is organized. Okay, welcome back to the main room. Welcome back to the main room. Okay, so we got the two texts here. You had a read of them, and some of you got to share ideas about the differences between these two types of texts. Okay, so you got text 1 and text 2. So we're going to go through very quickly through some of the differences, and these hold true for academic writing. Okay, so first of all, text A. Okay, text A is basically test writing. So it's like an IELTS test. Now, what you find is you get a brief, simple introduction. Okay, usually one sentence in GPT, IELTS, TOEFL, things like that. Second thing is you get a spoken tone. Okay, it feels, when you read it, it feels like you're listening to someone talking. Essentially, things like "of course," "so," okay, "first of all," "secondly," okay, "in conclusion." I mean, well, in conclusion you can use anywhere. But these kind of feel like a spoken tone. Okay, it sounds like you're listening to someone speaking. Next thing we look at is fanboys, compound sentences, and, but, or, so, yet, things like that. Look, if you look here, almost all of it is attached with so many of these words, these conjunctions. So, but, and, but, and, but. Okay, lots and lots of conjunctions. Okay, so lots and lots of compound sentences. Next thing you can notice is the content is general. Okay, basically it's observational. You can all the information in here is observable, something you can see. Okay, it often gets dark around 4 p.m. You can see that. Okay, nighttime after people finish school or work, you can see people finishing work. Okay, the winter laziness makes people fatter. Again, you can see this. Okay, talking about extra kilograms. It's not uncommon for people to slip on ice or trip on snow mounds and get bumps. Again, these are observable facts. Okay, these are things that you can see. Okay, special underwear, sweaters, jackets, coats, scarves, etc., to keep warm. Again, all of this is observable. This is not information that came from another text. It's not like you read it in a textbook. It's just something that you saw. Okay, so text A, brief, simple introduction, spoken tone, lots of compound sentences, and very general content. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to come up with this kind of content. Okay, it's easily understandable. Text B, okay, you get a longer introduction, much more a longer introduction, which is very informative. Okay, there's lots of information in here, like there's definitions, okay, and an introduction into kind of the psychological disorder. Okay, next thing is the information is dense, a little bit like what we saw in the abstract. There's a lot of information packed in there. You'll notice in here, I don't think there are any compounds. Do you see any ands or buts or so's? Maybe, oh, there's one or two, but there's very few compound sentences. Very few compound sentences. Many simple sentences with information really condensed and packed in there. Technical or descriptive language. Okay, for cause and effect. Okay, so you'll see, while the other one was people do this, people do this, people do this, here you'll see lots of cause and effect. Okay, this happens, therefore this happens. SAD results from. Okay, SAD results from. Depression may result from. Okay, this may help to explain, it may suggest. Okay, so lots and lots of cause and effect patterns, much more than in the other essay. Citations, okay, a very common part of academic writing, to say where you got the information from. Okay, citation. This means that we can find the original piece of information. Okay, and again, careful with claims or facts. Whereas the other person say people dress like this, people slip on ice. Here we've got depression may result in. Depression may result in, may believe, doctors believe that. Being much more careful with the language. It's not it's always like this, or it's always like that. It appears to be like this. So they're very careful with their claims and facts. So in academic writing, okay, and academic essay features, you get informative intro, dense information, technical descriptive language, often for cause and effect, citations, and careful claims of fact. So this is basically the difference between them, okay? Text A, test writing, text B. Brief, simple introduction, spoken tone, fanboys, compound sentences, conjunctions. Content is general, no need for citations. Informative, dense information for the academic side, technical, descriptive license, technical and descriptive cause and effect, citations, and careful claims with fact. So just from this noticing exercise, we can tell a lot about the types of writing, test writing, and we can tell the types about academic writing. Okay, and obviously when you're at university, you are trying to produce text B, not text A. Okay, text B is an academic writing. It's what you'll be expected to do at university. Okay, so the features of academic writing tend to be like this.